The next thing is, this one comes from Firesticks Gaming Team. And they asked, should owners of Pro-Am teams run their team like they are interviewing for a future GM position in the NBA 2K League? My response to that is, I think that's a good idea, because I think a lot of players who have received positions in the 2K League have been people who were in some level of leadership for a Pro-Am team. So I think it's a good way to think. I also think it's a good way to think for, if you are a gamer, right? If you are a 2K Pro-Am comp type of a guy or girl, right? This is your thing. You love it. You play it all the time. You're very well, you're somewhat known in the community, and you've had some experience with the game, and you say you've tried to make it these first 2 seasons and you haven't been able to get in. I think that really transitioning your thought from I have to be a player to I have to be involved with the league is a very, very smart approach, right? So it's just like any other sport, right? So me, I'm 6'5". When I was really, really in shape, I was about 205, 215, right? I'm a good basketball player, but I knew I was not an NBA basketball player. I love sports, but I knew I wasn't the type of athlete that could play professionally. So my thought was, how can I create a career or get involved with something that has to do with sports, but I don't have to be the athlete? And it's the same thing here with the 2K League, right? You got to think, what's the next step? And I think that looking at it, like, because I happen to know the person who kind of runs Firesticks Gaming, so I know where this question is kind of coming from. I know that they've, gone for the league twice and didn't get in. And, very good player, could have easily been in, has a fantastic story. I mean, you would not believe this person's story. And I mean, you wouldn't really believe it. I mean, it's serious, right? But he is also a go-getter and a person who is really good and sharp with marketing and branding. And he's making this transition mentally from looking at it like, okay, I went for this league twice, and now I'm running this Pro-Am team. And so now he's looking at getting in to a GM management or a GM position with the 2K League. And I think it's a really smart thought process. So I definitely think that that's something that a person should do if they're doing that.
Yeah, I actually I disagree, not because what I think you're saying is wrong, but I think what the 2K base needs, because the 2K League is only but so big. And there's only so many jobs available in the 2K League. And when I say the 2K League is only so big, I mean that in 2 ways. There's only so many people doing it, and it's also not that good. Like, as a Twitch gaming channel, it's not something that if you were part of a real esport, you would want to be a part of. It's only because the 2K community has not had an esport to this time that people are looking at the 2K League like it's the top of the, like it's the mountaintop. It's not the mountaintop. It's gutter trash. So what you guys need to do is you guys need to make your Twitch channels, your tournaments, make those as big as possible. It is a reality that some non-NBA sponsored tournament could kill the NBA on Twitch. And you know how I can tell you this? Because there are individual streamers who beat 2K League on Twitch and from 2K, and then there's streamers from other games who would have a fit if they had a tournament and had 2K numbers. I mean, a fit. Even if they were throwing their own tournament in some spot they rented for a weekend, just with mostly friends. There are people who could play an old fighting game that do 2K League numbers. So what happens is a lot of people are thinking in the paradigm because of 2K League, because of the 2K and the NBA branding. And I'm saying, grow your scene. Do what other esports do and grow your scene. And you do this by putting events together, getting the talent up, growing your viewership, growing your individual brands, and then growing your collective brands, right? I think that's what needs to be done, way above trying to get some dinky GM job. Not that it's a terrible thing to work for that, but I'm saying, like, right now, that is not what a person would say is their best case scenario. It doesn't pay as much as you think it does. The viewership isn't what you think it is. This is a startup in esports. Don't treat this startup like it's Overwatch League or something like that, or Evo for Street Fighter or whatever. It's not that big. They don't get hundreds and hundreds of thousands of viewers. They get the amount of viewers that a mid-level streamer of another game would get. And you should be seeking to make your individual brand that powerful.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't disagree with what you're saying mostly. What I do think is important is to understand that everybody is not as ambitious, and that's okay, because not everybody in the world is cut out to be an entrepreneur. You know, not everybody in the world is cut out to start their own thing. And because what you're saying makes total sense. And that's the type of thing that I would think to do. I'm like, okay, well, you won't accept me. I'm going to create my own thing and it's going to be bigger. That's the way I would think. Right.
But even if you're just talking about management, right? And I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to get on this point because it's not just about you as an individual. It's also about what you're a part of. So if the 2K League is running their tournament, right? And they're looking to hire people, they're going to hire people who have run successful tournaments before, even if they're behind the scenes. And this is the kind of thing that you're talking about doing. And this is what I'm saying is you have to make yourself valuable outside of it. You can't, not that you can't, but the fastest way to get to where you're going is not to seek value and validation from the company. It's to seek it outside of the company. And then the company sees that you're an asset, and that's your job interview right there. That's your resume. And you don't have to be constrained by what they feel because they know that you're not desperate to work with them, that they're your only shot. So you'll get more from them, even if you're not in the spotlight yourself. But you still have to build. And if you don't want to build, you are putting it totally in their hands. And no matter what advice we give you, it could not be enough because at the end of the day, you're talking about only a few people in the world who can help you with your decision. But when you build or help to build something, there's many people in the world contributing to your success.
Yeah, you know, like I said, I don't disagree with that concept at all. I don't. But I think that not everyone has that thought process, and many people, that thought process would be a turnoff or a discouragement to them because it's not really the level of responsibility that they want, because it represents something more than because everybody's itch is scratched differently. You know, there are some people who what they are striving for, I might look at it and go, well, that wouldn't be enough for me. That wouldn't be enough for me, but it's just fine for them. It's literally just fine for them, and they will be 100% happy with that. So I think that it's one of the things that I've learned is that I can't necessarily put my level of aspirations on everybody, because some people because you're literally what you're saying is you're going for this job here with this company that's not even really doing that well. You're really more enamored with the reputation and the labels and the branding and all this, that, and the third. And much of it is due to your ignorance of the entire esports scene. You're probably not aware of how really big esports is to even know that 2K League is not doing that great from a number standpoint. So why would you shoot for this? Well, I understand what you're saying, but at the same token, there may be a person that says, well, you know what? I know that, but I'm fine with that. And this is what I want to do.
But no matter what they want to do, though, I would say then the answer is find out how other people are successful in esports. Because what the 2K League is hiring you to do is to help them build a successful esport. That's what your job is. You might have a different aspect of that job, but at the end of the day, that's what the job is. And you need to know how to do that. And the only way to know how to do that is to know how it's done. And you have to find out how it's done if you don't know how it's done already. So if there is any ignorance about how esports works and how esports get big and how tournaments are run and all that other stuff, you still got to find that stuff out in order to put yourself in a position to play a role in those things, whether it's inside the 2K League or outside the 2K League. So it's like, it's not about you being so ambitious that you want to start your own company, but you have to be ambitious enough to do the job. And that requires spreading your wings maybe more than you're comfortable with. And discomfort is often between you and any goal you want. So It is what it is.
It
I'm
is.
just giving the best advice. I'm not saying what people should do. I'm just saying that that's what I think works most effectively.
Yeah.